Hello and welcome back to Infinite Roleplay. My name is Nelson, your totally immersed power gamer. And I guess this is sort of not a video reply, but an inspired by video. I just got done watching a character creation for a fighter, Warlock. Juice, this is for you. And for anybody else watching that's interested in building their character with some inherent synergies and stuff. First off, I would just like to comment on the fact that the Warlock's expanded spell list is just that. It's an expanded spell list. So it's an expanded list of choices for you to choose from when choosing spells known. You do not get all the spells in the expanded spell list automatically. With that out of the way, I like the fact that when you went Fighterlock, you went Performer, Fire Eater, but there's no fire in your spam ability, like your cantrips. And the Fiend is also a lot about fire. So partially for that reason, but mostly because I think it's an incredible spell. Create Bonfire. As a level 5 character, Create Bonfire would be doing 2d8 damage upon a failed reflex save. You do have a fairly charismatic character, so you should have a decent save DC, and you could always plop it down. So you could be in the middle of a fight, roleplay, you spit up some fire or whatever, and boom, a created bonfire covering your own flank. Or spit it on top of an enemy, they have to roll a reflex save, and as long as they remain in there, as long as they when they first enter or end their turn in the bonfire, they have to roll the save. Now, it's a concentration duration, so you'd have to choose either Creating Bonfire, Cloud of Daggers, or Hex, which might be a little bit of a difficult choice, could be situational, but when you do run out of spell slots, you can always fall back on the Created Bonfire. Okay, with that there, keep that in mind. Remember, Create Bonfire. Next is for your spell, your first level spell selection. I would probably kick off one of the spells. Maybe Hellish Rebuke fits the theme of a Fire Eater. You know, you have that fire inside of you. Somebody hits you. Oh, fire! It costs a reaction to cast, and it takes a spell slot. However, you are Pact of the Fiend, meaning when you drop an enemy, you're going to be getting temporary hit points. So what I like to do with a melee Warlock is go Armor of Agathes. It grants you temporary hit points, and for as long as you have those temporary hit points, when an enemy damages you, they take said listed damage right back. At level 4, I believe you have second level spell slot, so you would gain 10 temporary hit points, and then whoever attacks you, for as long as you have those temporary hit points, whenever you are hit, they take 10 points of cold damage. It might be breaking the theme of a Fire Eater, but I think it's a better use of a spell. It lasts longer. You can manage it, especially with the features of being Pact of the Fiend. Also, what works very synergistically with that is if you swap out one of your invocations for Fiendish Vigor. Fiendish Vigor allows you to cast the False Life spell as a level 1 spell without any of the requirements. So no verbal, no somatic, no material. You don't need any of that. And you can keep doing it for as long as you want. What it does, I believe, is give 1d4 plus 3 temporary hit points for an hour. Doesn't sound like much, but if you can keep that going, like if you plan on going into battle, you can take a moment to cast that. You're giving yourself an initial buffer. With that buffer, you could take an action to reset your temporary hit points for Armor of Agathes. If you feel it's getting a little bit low and you need a couple of extra temporary hit points, or you're not dropping enemies, you're not last hitting them or whatever, it just synergizes well. Going back to synergy, you took Heavy Armor Master and Great Weapon Master. Heavy Armor Master works really well with the fact that you're probably going to be getting a lot of temporary hit points, or hopefully keeping temporary hit points, because you reduce the damage. Whatever you get goes to your temporary hit points, and whenever you get hit, the person hitting you takes 10 points of cold damage if you take Armor of Agathes. Now that's automatic. That is not a concentration duration, and if you want to keep Hellish Rebuke, you could expend your second spell slot after Armor of Agathes to then Hellish Rebuke a single target, dealing, I believe it's at that level, 3d6 fire damage plus the 10 cold damage. But if you switch out Great Weapon Master for something like Sentinel, which I kind of think works thematically with what you were saying, that your background is you basically failed your family. Your family died, they're dead, you want vengeance, whatever. Maybe that could play into the fact that he's very protective. He doesn't want anybody fighting anybody else. Boom, Sentinel. You're gonna run away from me? Nope, I'm gonna take you down. Boom, Sentinel. Right? So that, let's say if the situation created itself where in one round you had your Armor of Agathes up, you cast your created Bonfire at a target. The target fails their save and takes 2d8 fire damage. Then either attacks an ally or tries to run away from you. If they try to run away from you to move out of the created Bonfire, that would trigger your Sentinel, and you could use that reaction to hit them with Sentinel, dealing your great weapon damage, your 2d6 plus your strength. And if you hit them, you drop their speed to 0, meaning they stay stuck in the created Bonfire, which means they end their turn inside the created Bonfire, which means they have to roll a dex save again, potentially taking another 2d8 damage on top of the Bonfire. If they stay and fight you, that's the 2d6 damage plus your strength from your great weapon, the 2d8 fire damage, potential fire damage from your Bonfire, plus the fact that if they actually hit you, you're going to take 10 points of cold damage, and they may not even damage you. So, I sprinkle a little power gamer on it. Anyways, for you, Juice, and for anybody else watching that wants to sprinkle a little power gamer on it, and have a more synergistic sort of, oh my god, kind of build, that's my suggestions. I have fun playing a pure 100% melee-oriented Warlock. No Fighterlock, all Warlock. And that's kind of how, along the lines of how I choose my things for him. So, hope that was helpful. Hope you enjoyed this video. And till I chat with you guys and gals next time, my name is Nelson, the totally immersed power gamer, and this has been Infinite Roleplay. Peace.